In this video, we'll look into SQL Q&A part 13. So create let us create a table first, then we'll create the cluster index. Create table SQL basics dot dbo dot call it test1, and we have here temp id int not null and temp name varchar of 100 null, has start time, date time null, and we have end time, date time null. Let us create this table. Execute. So right click tables, refresh, go down. There is a test1 table created, columns. Yeah, emp id int, emp name, start time, end time. So let us insert some values into this. Prepare these values. Insert into SQL basics.dbo test1 values, emp id 1, and name is we are entering A, and the timings are 9 to 17 for this. Let me make it this one B and then C, and this is 8 and 17, and for C 7 and 14. These are the timings. So let us insert these values. Let us select check the table star from SQL basics.dbo.test1. If I execute this, so we got these timings entered for ABC. Now let us create the clustered index. Create clustered index on table test1. So statement is create clustered index C1. I am naming it as C1 on this table SQL basics.dbo.test1. I'll copy this and we'll create it on emp id. So we say emp id. So creating clustered index C1 on test1 table on the column emp id. I execute this, and here if you go to the indexes, right click and refresh, here C1 clustered index created. So now if I double click this, it will open up. See, on the test1 table, C1 is a index name and it is index type is clustered index and index key columns. We created it on emp id, ascending order, and integer, size 4, identity no, allow nulls no, because we made it emp id is not null here. So now let us delete it here. I'll select it and press the delete button. This will be deleted. So instead of a query, I can as well create it from the GUI. So right click indexes, new index, clustered index. Here we got this test one, and index name I'll give it as C1, and clustered index key column I can add it here and select MPID and then press OK. C1 cluster index has been created. Now next question would be create non-clustered index on table test one. So for that, create, there's no need to mention non-clustered here because the previous case we mentioned clustered index. We say just create index, then it will automatically understood that it's a non-clustered index. For a clustered index, you have to specifically say clustered index. Create index, we name it NC1 here on SQLBasics.dvo.test1, and here we will create non-clustered index on amp name. If I execute this, now right click indexes, fresh, and C1 has been created. If I double click this, now it will open up. Test1 is the table name and C1 is the index name, and index type is non-clustered. Amp name, the same thing you have seen previously. And let us delete this and create it from GUI. So right click indexes, new indexes, non-clustered indexes, test one. I'll name it NC1 and it is non-clustered type. Add the column, we'll add amp name. Okay, so here I have this NC1 created. That's how we can create a clustered index and non-clustered index. Now next question would be calculate number of hours worked. So in this table test one, select from SQL Basics dot test one. We'll select emp id, emp name, then start time, and end time. Now we want to calculate the number of hours. If we just see the table here, we execute this. See, A has worked from 9 to 5 p.m. is 8 to 5 p.m. and this one 7 to 2 p.m. So we have to calculate the number of hours. For that we use rediff and we want the interval. To rediff, we want the interval is HH, that is HH means hours, and we'll have the start time and end time. We make it as hours. If I execute this now, A has worked for 8 hours. Between 9 and 5 p.m. it is 8 hours. Between 8 and 5 p.m. it will be 9 hours for B. Between 7 and 2 p.m. it will be 7 hours for C. So that's how we can use this date diff to find out the number of hours worked or number of minutes worked, or can work out with the number of days. So there are several ways you can use date diff by changing this from hours to minutes or hours to days. So that's how we can use date diff. If you like the video, please subscribe by clicking on the subscribe button. For notifications on upcoming videos, please click on the bell icon.